Uncle Cal, what's going on, sir?
What's going on, cuz? How you doing, sir?
Man, you know I'm good, man. Making it happen about yourself.
Man, I'm great, man. I'm great, man. Just
Yes, sir.
being humble, bro.
Yes, sir, man. All right, we back in the building for another one. Really responding as people should. Today we're going to touch on the topic that's kind of been the talk of the town for the last couple weeks, and that's the Tyree Nichols situation. So we're gonna give our take on it and see how we can take something from this. We'll be back in a moment.
Unc Cal and Dave Jones are the hosts of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the straps. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Raps.
All right, really responding as people should, man. So yeah, this is a crazy topic. There's so many different ways to look at this topic. There's so many things to talk about, and I just want to dive into it and get your take on. Obviously, we're talking about the Tyree Nichols situation where the five police officers, what I'm saying, basically beat a man to death, tortured him in this process. There's a lot of, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that I didn't really get into detail looking at the story or looking at the videos because that's hard for me to stomach. You know what I'm saying? As much as I love people, but I got enough to understand it's something for us to talk about so we can see how we can, see the attack of the enemy and then our mindset so we know how to respond. But just give me your outlook, bro, on your thoughts and maybe we can get some engagement.
Well, man, pretty much, Jan, like you, I glimpsed at it. I got a glimpse of it. I looked at it, and I kind of kept up on it enough to know about it, but not enough to just be so deep into it that I know everything about, what I'm saying, up until this point about the case and what's going on with the way they did them. But, with us seeing this so much, what I'm saying, in today's time, it just puts you in a position where you don't want to look at it because it's almost like, it puts you in such a depressing place, what I'm saying, even though it's our reality and we can't ignore it. It's just like, it's only so much of it you want to take in because it's like, at some point it angers you to the point where it makes you, what I'm saying, start thinking outside the box, thinking a little crazy. So, my outlook on it, man, from what I do know is that what I'm saying, I feel like it's a little biased because I feel like, they jumped on these guys and arrested them, faster than what we've been seeing, what I'm saying, being that it's a lot of black officers involved in this killing versus what we see when we see white officers do this, it seems like they take their time to arrest them and they dot all their I's and cross all their T's and they do these big investigations to make sure, what I'm saying. So it just that kind of weirded me out, what I'm saying. But on the flip side, you happy that it seemed like it's a lot of initiative being taken because it is officers, whether they're white, black, green, or ugly. You do want to see justice brought to the family of the victim, and you want to see that, they get their just due, as far as being victimized like that. So it's like on one side of you glad that is somebody just took, what I'm saying, the initiative to handle it swiftly. But I think it just need to be done like that across the board, where no matter the color of the officer, these guys, they wear these badges and they put themselves on these pedestals like they God, what I'm saying. And I think at some point it's got to be something, it's got to be a boundary line set to where, policing, you got to feel like police is here to police and bring about, structure and rules, but not, what I'm saying, you don't supposed to fear them. They're supposed to protect and serve, what I'm saying. And a lot of times they just be for the wrong thing.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think you hit a lot of interesting points. There's definitely layers. You touched on one, which is inevitable because it's the race layer when race is defined, basically, because we only think it's one race. But if we had to departmentalize it, how the world sees, people of color, this is a situation where if you look at how it was handled administratively, that there was swift action without even question, even though we've seen things that are just as bad or worse with officers, boys in blue, compared to the people who are pedestrian or black people, right? And so there was definitely a different recourse, much swifter, which, it's almost like the gift and the crutch. It's a negative thing because you see that there's a disparity and how we are perceived, and it's so easy to throw, what I'm saying, a man of color away. But at the same time, it also will set the bar or the standards, something that we can go back on and say, hey, look, remember, you did this fashion with this much information, which is just a video, right? Mm-hmm. And so now you have to take that same and keep on, that same energy, right? The same energy and keep it going with everybody else because we have something that we can reference to say this is how you're supposed to act or respond when you see cases when police who are being, overstepping their boundaries, taking these ego tactics and just over abusing their authority, literally abusing their authority to where they would torture a person and feel that they're protected by the law to do so.
Right.
And it's really sickening to see that happens. So, but I got a different angle that I want to bring into the light. I titled this topic today, "Are you being used by an idea that is destroying your life?" Now, that sounds real odd, but it's because of the disparity in race and how it's responded that brought me to this concept. Like, we know it's not, these type of behaviors is not necessarily just seen in a white person, as it just solely showed us, but it's also seen in Black people to an individual. So if we all were the same color, the root of this is the idea or the spirit of malice, to want to see someone else suffer so that somebody can get off. That is a spirit. That is a thought that has occupied these particular people. We're going to use this and we're going to bring it back to us individually, has used these particular men to where it has exercised itself in their behavior to the point that they will kill someone else. You follow what I'm saying? And so a thought, all of us may have a thought or something that's despicable that we've baked into our behavior and our mindset. It may not think it as bad as this, but it's going to allow us to see it, that the idea is using our physical body because we accepted and given into the idea that crap is okay.
Yeah, man, that's deep, man, because that's real, because like you say, man, it's a condition of the heart, man, a bad spirit that you carry on them. And then I noticed, man, with we ain't police officers, Dave, and so we can't see things out their eyes, but just knowing, what place the world is and watching, what's going on in the world. And I can imagine how hard it is to be a spiritual type of person or stay in a good mind frame, far as just being like having hope and belief that things is getting better when you're working in a field where all you see and hear is negative things come across a walkie-talkie. You know what I'm saying? All you hear and all you deal with all day in your life is trying to make right out of everything that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can see how that type of job or that type of position could keep you in a negative place. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, just talking about the spirit and just talking about the heart, that's just more of the reason why you got to bow to something bigger than you, and you got to kneel to a bigger cause to just keep your mind sane and keep your mental straight when you're dealing with so much corruption and you hearing so much ugly stuff and you pulling up to so much violence and you know what I'm saying, you jumping out on so much foolishness, domestic violence, shootings, theft, break-ins, killings. It's just, it's hard, you know what I'm saying, to live and like, oh, my life is good and I'm looking for God to bring me about this blessing, or you coming in, like guys like us, man, we can keep an optimistic mindset, when we not seeing the negative stuff every second in our life. But you got 8-10 hours and then they running short on in the police force, as far as people wanting to sign up, so they working longer hours, they ain't getting paid right, and then all you dealing with all day is hearing negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know you're a product of your environment. So if you ain't, if you ain't balancing that out, if you're working 12 hours a day and you sleeping 8 or 6 and you using that other, 4 to 6 hours to just keep something in your spirit that's positive to keep you, evenly balanced, man, it's more so likely that you gonna, bow and kneel to the negativity, and you gonna have that anger and frustration in your heart to where you raging and you ready to snap, because it's all you dealing with all day.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful how, it's so hard to empathize or take the mindset of a police officer in this particular case, but that's what you just beautifully did. And not to say that it justifies anything.
Right.
I think that is a character trait that we all need to do when somebody who is in opposition to us is doing something that we don't agree with or that is damaging to us, to figure out if we can have the wisdom to step back to see what it is that they're doing, and see if there's a way for us to allow for empathy to first have the conversation before we even respond to it. And so your point, again, we're talking about the Tyre Nichols situation where the gentleman was arrested and was kind of tortured essentially to death beating when it seemed to be far more above what was necessary, right? And with the concept that you maintain this negative spirit as a police officer, that all you know is negativity, violence, death, destruction, and you get in the bottom of society and their mess, and you're called on to it. So just like a doctor or a physician or an ER, to where you get numb to the patients that come in because all you see is pain and trauma all day, every day.
Right.
And so there is an empathy there to even pray for those who have to deal with that, who are protecting us. But in addition to that concept, I think there is still a way to realize on a bigger picture that, all of us, we have the ability to accept what we believe is what is okay, right? And every thought is, and this is where I want to get to, is a spirit. And a spirit is like literally the thing that controls you. Once the spirit of the thought, the idea, whether it's a vision for a future, a vision for your family, about you want to hustle, grind, you want to be the best version of yourself, or you want to be a criminal. Once you attract that idea, that spiritual, intangible thing that, here it is, exists before you and it exists after you. Once you grab a hold of it and agree with it, it itself becomes the master of your life. If that makes sense. It is the thing that will control you, because we are made as mechanisms that we can take any ideal. And this is why we have to follow God and his truths and principles. If you focus on negativity or darkness, those ideas begin to become your master. So the idea is the master. So let me give you an example. Like, a lot of us, I believe that fulfillment in life comes from self-control. And when you don't have control over yourself, there is no happiness. Well, what does that even mean? Like, why can't I do what I want to do? Like, what is this about me not being able to do what I want to do? You lose your willpower and your authority when you accept a thought that rests in your subconscious mind, and it becomes your master. Period. So if we're around negativity all day, if we're envious, if we're jealous, if we're a gossiper, once you bake that in you, that thought, even though you know it's wrong, becomes the thing that controls us.
Right.
And that's what I seen what really God made me this point out to me is when I'm looking, like, it ain't just a black and white thing. You follow what I'm saying? There's an idea that beating, in this case, a black man, is acceptable and is passable and is permissible. So that thought, even when the African-American cop can believe and hold on to that as truth and exercise the idea, and that negative malice control those men to be able to torture that guy to do it. So my question is, I'm gonna let you jump in, is what is it that's controlling us? What idea, what spirit that we need to cast down that's taking control of our behavior that we're giving ourselves to be mastered over?
Yeah, that's good, man, because, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, that's good. That's a good point you touched on. And that's why I feel like the white man in today's time is okay with, you know what I'm saying, not having the respect, or don't mind murdering us or killing us, because they look at us and they see we don't even have the love and respect for ourselves. Because no matter how much you see with road rage or different things, and you may be out at Home Depot or different places in the world, you see white guys giving each other the finger and cussing each other out. You never see them just up and just killing each other over something, you know what I'm saying, it's foolish, just a road rage incident. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that. You don't see these guys, getting in the argument and letting their pride so much get in the way that where they got to prove something to each other, the way they're killing each other. And that's the problems in our community is like, how can you expect somebody to respect us if we ain't sticking together to say, hey, we're not allowing this, because we don't do it to ourselves. Right. So it's just like in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? When you see a lot of women, you know what I'm saying, that's single out here refusing to deal with getting in relationships and dealing, because they've been through stuff that they're just not going to allow. So they rather just be single. And that's just how we got it. That's just going to have to be the take. We got to start loving each other and supporting each other and encouraging each other and standing behind the thought of being positive with each other enough to where we say, hey, I love you. I'm not going to have that. I'm going to tuck my pride. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm going to turn the other cheek. I'm not going to let it go that far. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let you make sure you make it home to your family. Somebody got to be the bigger man. Yeah. If everybody walking around wearing a chip on their shoulder and trying to prove that I ain't no punk, and I can't be, you know, you ain't gonna queer me out, then where, you know what I'm saying, where's the resolution?
Yeah.
So at some point, somebody got to know that it's bigger than themselves, to the point where, hey, this situation gonna leave. This situation gonna end up real ugly. So let me leave before, you know what I'm saying? So it's just all about growth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have been in positions where we think about situations we handled and we thought back on them and we like, man, that was foolish. I could be dead right now. I could be in jail right now. So you got to grow from them situations. You got to grow and to know that, hey, I remember last time I got into something like this, it didn't work out good on both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can win the fight, but you might lose the battle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You may end up, you know what I'm saying, popping somebody and paralyzing them or killing them or just proving to them that you got the ups on them. You know what I'm saying? And then you end up having to do some time behind it or lose your freedom. So you lost the battle. You won the fight that day, but you ultimately lost the battle because everything in your life is on hold. So we just got to go out into this world and think bigger than ourselves, man. When we go out here and we dealing with our brothers, we got to think that, hey, this man may have a family. This man got a mother and father that love him. This man may have children. He got brothers and sisters. And at the same time, he my brother or my sister. You know what I'm saying? And the same with our ladies. They got to go out here, man, and they got to learn how to curb their tongues because, you know, you ain't got to prove to every man that you don't need a man and that you can stand up to him and that you just as manly and hard as a man. You know, sometimes just be smooth. You got to learn how to just be smooth and just, hey, let me be quiet.
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people don't even understand how ignorant you are until you open your mouth. So just be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Walk away from the situation, be quiet. You ain't got to feel like no fool or no sucker or feel like somebody got down on you. It's just like, man, hey, at this point, I want peace. And I know leaving this situation quiet is going to give me peace. And I ain't got to worry about the repercussions behind it. Because a lot of times you be saving people from yourself. You be they be thinking they horn you or they playing you or they got the ups on you, but they don't even understand that, hey, listen, I'm really sparing you. You feel me? Right. So it's just like, man, you just got to get to that point where you understand that, you know, it ain't worth it.
No, I think that's beautiful, boy. Again, it's almost like what you're saying is, you know what I'm saying, again, are you being used by an idea that's destroying your life? You just brought up the alternative to what it seemed like we have the tendency to think, negativity, like getting back at people, like, you know, not considering the whole circumstances or the repercussion or the consequences. But you said the word peace. Like if you're chasing the idea or the spirit of peace, if you're chasing the idea of love, which is what we're trying to give out, alternative thought processes, which are the good of who we are, humanity. If we can get ourselves to see things differently, then that idea will begin to control our behavior. But it takes a person to seek an idea that what we're normally doing with each other in these cases is not working for us. It's not working for us individually or us collectively. So we have to realize that we've been, you know, I always say we've been cultivated. And this is my empathy that I give to Black people in general. We have been cultivated. You know, culture, the root word is cult or cultivated, like a crop. We've been raised to see negativity. We've been raised to be in isolation. We've been raised over years to be divided and to be selfish. If you go back to slavery, we didn't go through slavery together. They split us up. They split families up. They split brothers up. And so what happens is you were baked with this reality that it's all about me, and you didn't have to even love your family. And so that's why that's still the residue of that DNA is still seen right now, to where it's like it's all about me. Even in some of the closest family, there's even division there. Well, what is this? This is the idea that is baked inside of us that it's okay to be isolated, alone, and all about self. And so that means everybody else becomes second nature, even to the point that you will hurt them. And you're seeing this played out more so in our culture because that's how we were cultivated, right? And so we're having these type of conversations to say that, no, we don't have to believe that lie anymore. We don't have to be subdued to that spirit of negativity. And this is why we chase God, because it is good in God and seeing the love that we have for each other, even when there's opposition between our thought processes. And so that's why we're talking about willingly responding as people should. Like this way of doing each other is not working. And we have to search an alternative.
Right. And then you have to get to a point where you lean into something that you have understanding to that's bigger than you, because, you know, just talking about, you know, God and spirit, you know what I'm saying? No matter what relationship you lean towards, you gotta kneel and bow to something bigger than you, because that's the only way you actually can be in a position where you can see yourself.
Right.
If the only understanding you got is looking at things out of your own eyes, it's gonna be hard, you know what I'm saying, to get correction, you know what I'm saying, and direction, because you feel like it's all about me and how I feel and the way, you know, you do things. So that's why it's real important, you know what I'm saying, for you to find God or find some type of spiritual belief that will allow you to deal with your ugly truths. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know, my mom killed somebody in front of me, you know what I'm saying, cold-blooded when I was 5 years old, man. And you know, so I was full of rage and anger, and it wasn't nothing for me, you know what I'm saying, to shoot it out or beef out with somebody, because I seen death so young, and you know what I'm saying, I watched death and watch people murder people, you know what I'm saying, throughout my whole family. So coming out here in the world, you know what I'm saying, where you don't know nothing but death, you know what I'm saying, and anger and dealing with stuff by solving a problem with violence. You know, if I ain't find God, you know what I'm saying, when I did, man, you know, I was a recipe for disaster, you know what I'm saying, because all I knew was just this nutty stuff, you know what I'm saying. So, you know, you gotta find something to change your mindset, you know what I'm saying, to have you start looking at things in a more realistic way, other than, you know what I'm saying, my way is the only way, or my way is the right way, or, you know, it's working for me this long, I ain't gonna change nothing. Man, that's foolishness, because the minute you stop growing, then, you know what I'm saying, you really stop existing. You gotta keep growing, you know what I'm saying, to be, you know what I'm saying, to be greater, to be better, you know what I'm saying, for everybody that's, you know what I'm saying, supporting, you know what I'm saying, being in a part of your life, a part of your friendship, a part of your, you know what I'm saying, your everyday movement. So you gotta grow, you know what I'm saying, because the minute you stop growing, you stop instilling. You know what I'm saying? You can't give nothing if you ain't taking nothing in. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just about evolving, man, and just getting better with yourself, and just know, honestly looking at the things that you need to perfect and working on them, and stop running from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, man. And we can wrap this up, man. I think we all have to be in a position that we're chasing ideas that are better than the ideas we have, which are bringing the results we have. And it's no deeper than that. It's all of us are in a fight with no one else but ourselves.
Right.
You are in a fight with the spirit or the idea that you've baked in you. And if you don't like how things are in your life, if you don't like your responses and situation, this is all of us. We're not talking at you. If you don't like what's going on, then it's a self-evaluation, a self-audit. What different thought can I grab from truth, which is in the word of God, right? So what is it that I could grab a hold of and reprogram my mind so that my body won't carry out these negative things like we just discussed at the start of this topic, where we would beat somebody and have malice to want to see somebody else in pain, as opposed to causing protection and love to that. That spirit, it may not be as drastic as shown, but we all have that we need to kill that thing that's inside of us. But it's our job to chase something different to get a return that we want, man. So I'm gonna let you close it out, Doc.
Yeah. All right. We appreciate y'all tapping in. We appreciate the support, man. We appreciate the love. Keep us encouraged. Keep us in y'all prayers. And Father God, just allow us to just take time out, God, to just love on each other, you know, deal with our own iniquities, you know, deal with, you know, our hate, you know, our anger, our frustrations, God. Please not allow us to take it out on the world and other people. Allow us to just deal with it, you know, and get in our alone place and just get to ourselves and just deal with our ugly truths and work on ourselves till we can be in a more positive place. We can go out here in the world and smile and show more love and give more love, God. And even, God, allow us to just see what it is that's angering us, God, what is frustrating us, what makes us lash out on others, God. Allow us to be more patient with our kids, our friends, and allow us to just work on the things, God, that's just keeping us, you know, to the point where we feel like we got to be so hard. So we just thank you for everything you're doing, God. We thank you for the blessings. Through your son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. That's a wrap.
Right, bro. It's a wrap. Thanks, sir.
Cal and Dave Jones are the host of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Rap.